Hello, Bowtie Security Guy here. Again, sans bow tie because it is Friday, and I don't wear bow ties on Friday. Um, yeah, so I should probably start recording videos on other days besides Friday, but here we are. So let's talk about anti-phishing and anti-phishing programs. Many people believe that a good anti-phishing program has an extremely low click-through rate, meaning your users on average are clicking on maybe 1 to 3% of simulations that you send out. I do things a little bit differently. When I built an anti-phishing social engineering program, I wanted to continue to challenge my users to grow, not only from a technical perspective, but from a growth perspective to say, hey, are you learning what we're teaching you? And are you protected against the latest possible threats? So when we saw a click-through rate for 2 cycles in a row, so we'll say 2 months or 3 months, whatever it may be that your cycle is, of under 10%, that meant that my phishing simulation level was lower than what the user's expectation was. They were catching those super easy, and I needed to up my game to make things more complex. My goal was to stay between a 10 to 15% click-through rate. And the reason for that is when you're sending out internal phishing messages, you're basically bypassing all of your security to do so. Majority of your phishing messages that get through are the real sneaky ones, or maybe a pretexting attack and things of that nature that has no real links in it right away. So when you send out a phishing message and you get a 3% click-through rate, okay, what does that truly mean? But if you can consistently raise the bar and difficulty level to match the threats that are getting past your perimeter and being reported, that's when you have a really strong anti-phishing program. And when people can recognize simulations directly created from attacks that got past your perimeter defenses, that's when you have something that actually matters. That's where the data actually means something. So for me, I would always strive to keep my click-through rate at a 10 to 12% because that meant my users were being challenged. You're always going to have a decent click-through rate if your simulations are solid and good. If you send out your basic run-of-the-mill stuff that's super easy to spot, that's great. You'll have a low click-through rate. It'll be awesome, and you can pat yourself on the back. But when a real attack comes in, your users will not be prepared for it. You need to train them and educate them along the way of why you're doing simulations and why you are making things more difficult, because you want to use the threats that are actually out in the wild to demonstrate the risk that they can cause internally. For me, working with our security awareness program at my old company was phenomenal because we got to do road shows. We got to talk about phishing. I got to show what happens when you click a fish, and you really can demonstrate the risk, not just from a company standpoint, but from a personal brand standpoint. That's where I hit a lot of people. I would say something like, how would you feel if your email was compromised and then 2,000 people in your entire contact list got a phishing message from you? Do you think that might slow down a possible promotion? Do you think that might stop and maybe somebody that you're working with as an informant from trusting you? Whatever it may be, and your job may be, like, it could be brand damaging. And once you relate personal brand damage to the anti-phishing program, I think people really start to resonate with it. So if you're just building out a program, I highly recommend you don't strive for low click-through rates. In fact, I recommend you strive to keep your users at a high click-through rate, and then make sure you have a process in place to identify repeat offenders and really encourage people. For me, I gamified our reporting. So if we had a first report for a simulation, they got a tchotchke in the mail and a thank you. Or if we caught a real fish and somebody reported it, sometimes I'd give them a personal phone call, other times a letter. Either way, we recognize that because The people who report phishing emails are your first line of defense. You want to keep them encouraged to report. And the way you do that is by really fostering an environment that, shows why we do these things. And it's not to trick users. It's not to catch you in something. It's to teach, train, and inform you how to spot attacks before they become real issues. So that's just my 2 cents. I figured, as the Bowtie security guy, I've talked a lot about jobs and job markets, and I've focused it on security, but I haven't really talked security except, some of the other things I've done. So I wanted to record this video and share my thoughts on anti-phishing. Good luck out there.